Have you ever watched a fox suddenly leap into the air for no reason at all and wondered what on earth it was doing? Maybe you saw a video of a wild fox rolling in the grass, chasing its own tail, or pouncing on a sibling when there was no food to catch and no danger to escape. It looked so familiar, so strangely joyful, that you may have found yourself asking a question most people never say out loud. Are foxes actually having fun? For a long time, scientists were hesitant to talk about emotions in wild animals. It seemed safer to describe behavior than feelings. A fox runs, a fox jumps, a fox chases. Those are things we can observe. But as researchers spent more time watching animals in their natural environments, something became harder and harder to ignore. Many animals do things that serve no immediate purpose except play. Young foxes are especially famous for it. In fields, forests, and even suburban neighborhoods, fox kits can spend hours wrestling, chasing one another, stealing sticks, and launching surprise attacks that are clearly not meant to hurt. If you happened to look out your window one evening and saw two young foxes tumbling across a patch of grass, you might think they were fighting. Then one suddenly darts away, circles back, and starts the whole game again. That difference matters. Real aggression usually ends with one animal trying to dominate or drive away another. Play has a different rhythm. There are pauses, role reversals, invitations to continue. The animals seem to understand that everyone involved is participating in the same activity. Researchers studying canids, the animal family that includes foxes, wolves, and domestic dogs, have documented what are known as play signals. These are behaviors that help communicate a simple message. This is only a game. You have probably seen something similar in a dog. A playful bow with the front legs lowered and the rear raised is one of the most famous examples. Foxes have their own versions. Their body language becomes looser. Movements are exaggerated. The goal is not winning. The goal is interaction. But if play requires energy, and energy is precious in the wild, why would evolution allow it at all? The answer reveals something remarkable. Play is not a waste of time. It is practice. When young foxes chase one another through tall grass, they are developing speed, balance, and coordination. When they wrestle, they are learning how their bodies move and how other foxes react. When they stalk leaves blowing across the ground, they are rehearsing hunting behaviors they will depend on later in life. Imagine a child throwing a ball in the backyard. To an outside observer, it might look like simple entertainment. Yet muscles are strengthening. Reflexes are improving. The brain is learning patterns and timing. The same principle applies to foxes. A playful pounce today may become a successful hunt months later. But the story does not end there. Scientists have discovered that play affects the brain itself. During playful interactions, many mammals experience changes in neural activity linked to learning, memory, and social development. In simple terms, play helps build better brains. That means a fox chasing its sibling across a meadow is not merely passing time. It is developing the mental flexibility needed to navigate a complex and unpredictable world. And life for a fox is unpredictable. A fox may encounter unfamiliar territory, changing weather, competing predators, moving prey, and countless unexpected challenges. Animals that can adapt quickly often have an advantage. Play appears to help create exactly that adaptability. You can see a small version of this in your own neighborhood. Watch a young dog figuring out a new toy. Watch a crow experimenting with an object it has never seen before. Curiosity and play often overlap. Both encourage exploration. Both prepare animals for situations they have not yet encountered. This is where the science becomes surprisingly emotional. For many years, researchers debated whether animals experience something resembling joy. Nobody can climb inside a fox's mind and directly measure a feeling. Yet scientists can observe behavior, brain chemistry, and physiological responses. Again and again, the evidence points towards something intriguing. When animals engage in healthy play, they often seek it out voluntarily. They return to it repeatedly. They appear relaxed rather than stressed. In some species, the brain releases chemicals associated with positive experiences. Researchers are careful with their language, and for good reason. But many now acknowledge that at least some animals likely experience positive emotional states during play. Not human happiness exactly. Not human laughter exactly. But something that serves a similar function. Think about that for a moment. A fox emerging from its den at sunset may spend part of its evening doing things that are useful. Hunting, exploring, staying alert. Yet it may also spend time doing things that appear enjoyable. That possibility changes how we see the wild. The traditional image of nature is often harsh and dramatic. We picture survival, competition, and danger. Those things are certainly real. But they are not the whole story. Between moments of struggle, there are moments of play. A fox kit may ambush its brother from behind a bush and then sprint away. Another may leap sideways at a fluttering moth. A third may carry cigar around as if it were the most valuable treasure in the world. These scenes remind us that life in nature contains more than necessity. It contains experience. Perhaps that is why people feel such a strong connection when they watch foxes play. We recognize something familiar, not because foxes are tiny humans wearing fur coats, but because evolution has shaped many social mammals in ways that produce similar patterns of learning, curiosity, and emotional expression. The distance between us and them suddenly feels smaller. If you enjoy exploring these hidden connections between animals and the lives they live beyond our notice, consider subscribing to Global Wild Origins. Every week we uncover another story that helps us see the natural world with fresh eyes. It is always wonderful to have you along for the journey. The more researchers study animal behavior, the more they discover that play is not an extra feature added onto life. It is woven into life itself. For foxes, play strengthens bodies, it sharpens minds, it builds relationships, it prepares young animals for adulthood while giving them opportunities to explore the world around them. And perhaps most fascinating of all, it hints at inner experiences that science is only beginning to understand. The next time you see a fox springing through a field for no obvious reason, pause before assuming it is simply being silly. What looks like a game may be a lesson. What looks like a lesson may also be something more, a brief moment of curiosity, a spark of exploration, maybe even a feeling we would recognize if we could somehow step into that fox's world for just a second. And that brings us back to the question you may have been carrying since the beginning. Why do foxes play? Because play helps them survive, because play helps them learn, and because somewhere in the quiet space between instinct and experience, the wild may be far richer with feeling than we once imagined. So if you ever catch sight of a fox dancing through the evening grass, remember that you are not just watching an animal at work. You may be witnessing one of nature's oldest and most beautiful secrets, the simple joy of being alive.